Halloween is definitely different this year. We are inside our homes with the kids pretty much all day, right? We're getting them up to eat. We got to get them dressed. We got to get them to go to school. Yep. Right at home. Yep. All day. Woo. And I know it can be tough on the parents too. You know, it's a tough thing. But hey, look at it this way. We got complete control over our kids' education now, right? We can make sure they're strong in math, they're strong in English, they're strong in science. I mean, with technology, man, woo! We can make sure they go very far with their learning, right? So, parents, embrace yourself. Just suck it up, get in alignment, and let's work with our children, right? Not only that, we're dealing with the pandemic. And if you're living in Michigan, it's upsurging again, unfortunately. It's already coming back. It's so unfortunate. The presidential election is Tuesday. Make sure you vote. It is so important that we vote, especially during this season, this time, this era, right? And lastly, civil unrest is happening all around us. So how do we cope with these things, you know? We just stay in our higher selves, and stay in alignment, and we make sure that we keep our foundation strong, and we take care of our kids, and we just keep it moving. We don't have a choice. So today, I am going to read something a little bit special to the kids. I didn't plan on reading a book, but you know, how can it hurt? We're a bookstore, right? We're Detroit Book City. We have all kind of books, right? Of course, we have Halloween books, so, you know, I got a little treat for you guys, okay? So I'm going to give it a little bit more time to see if anybody else enters the book fair, and before we get started. But just so you know, today we have 4 storytellers that's going to read their book. The first young lady, her name is Kimberley Jones, and she has a youth, teen, young adult book. And that book is so relevant today. It's called Our Friendship Matters. And we're going to let Kimberly tell you about that book once we get her on at 12:20. Then we also have, let's see, who else we have on our roster today? We have Rebecca Outlaw. She's going to read her book. We have Florenza Lee, who will be coming on at 1 o'clock. She's going to read her book. And then at 1:20, Daneace Jeffery is going to read her children's book. All of these books are so fascinating. They're not Halloween oriented, but they're fascinating. Then wait till you see how the authors are dressed for Halloween. Oh, so exciting. You know, I just love kids, so I get more excited probably than the kids. And then of course at 2 o'clock, we got Larry Castleberry. He's gonna read. He's a storyteller. He's not a book author, but he's a storyteller. And he's gonna read The Undefeated. And by the way, we're gonna give out these books today at for a children's book drawing giveaway. Okay? Woo, Halloween has me so twisted with my tongue today. All right. So I think we should go ahead and get started with our storytelling. Don't you, boys and girls? I hope we have some boys and girls here listening, right? Maybe we should give it a little bit more time. What do you think, about 2 more minutes maybe? But let me just give you a sneak peek of what I'm going to read to you today. Ooh, it's called Spooky Sounds, Halloween Pumpkin Fun. By the way, we sell this book at Detroit Book City, and we've been selling it for the last 2 weeks. So this was a really exciting book. It's large in size, and it's colorful, has great illustrations. And it's not a real scary Halloween book. It's kind of fun. And then we have the spooky sounds that go with it. Oh yeah, that kicks off the Halloween very, very well. So let's go ahead and get started because I don't want to run overtime. And we're going to go ahead and get started with our first story tell. Ready? All right, let's go. Spooky Sounds, Halloween Pumpkin Fun. Listen to the eerie sounds. I'll put my little reading glasses on. I can make sure that I cover every word in this book, right? Right. Ooh, spooky. Listen to the eerie sound. Ooh, okay. It's Halloween in Pumpkin Town. Who lives here? Peek inside if you dare. Ooh. I wonder who lives here, don't you? It's that broomstick by the door. Is that a clue? Come on in. Can you spot 6 spiders? Let's see if we can spot 6 spiders together. We got, let's see, I don't see 1. I see 2. Let's see, any more spiders? I see 3. I see 4. I see 5. Where's number 6? There he is. He's hiding down there. Number 6. Let's move along. A witch lives here. Can't you tell? She's cooking something. What a smell. Oof. I'm just waking up and growing a smell. Can you count the frogs? Let's see if we can find some frogs, guys. Let's see. There's one. 1. It should be 7. 2. Let's see where else. 3. 4. 5. 6. Uh-oh, there's the other one. 7. 7 frogs. Woo. This pumpkin is quite a sight. Does it give you a big fright? Step inside for a bite. Can you count 8 flying bats? Let's count the 8 bats. We got 1, we got 2, we have 3, and then there's 4. Where else? Let's see. 5, 6, we got 7, and there's number 8. All right. Who lives here in such style? A vampire family. See them smile? Won't you stay for a while? I spy 7 ghosts. Do you? Let's count the ghosts. We got 1, we have 2, we have 3. Oh, I think there's 4 in the window. We have 5, we have 6, we have 7. Oh gosh, is there 8? Maybe that's not a ghost, huh? Well, we have 8. Well, I see 8 ghosts, do you? Is that a ghost or no? Oh, it sure looks like a ghost. Now come to the town. You'll find the biggest pumpkin there. Ooh, everybody's together, right? Okay. All of Pumpkin Town meets to have fun. Happy Halloween, everyone. All right, the end. Well, did you guys enjoy that or what? Wow, that was a lot of fun. So this book again is called Spooky Sounds, Halloween Pumpkin Fun. And then also, let me tell you something really special about this book, okay? What you can do is you can open it up. And it's back. Let me show off my Detroit Book City shirt. This is our Halloween shirt. Isn't it nice? Yeah. So this particular book, it folds out, it turns into an actual pumpkin that you can sit on the table at your home. See? Oh, there we go. Isn't that nice? So this is a very unique book that we brought to Detroit Book City this year to sell to parents because we know that everybody is stuck at home, right? Well, most of us are stuck at home. I think there's going to be some kids that's going to go out today, you know, especially the upper class middle school kids. And I've seen some things on the news that that show that a lot of people who are giving out candy this year, they're going to have them stuck in the ground, which I thought was kind of unique. So when the kids walk up on the door instead of going up so they can practice social distancing, they can just walk on the grass and then grab something out of the grass. I thought that was a very unique concept, you know, considering what we're going through during this time of year. So let's see, what we're going to do is we're going to bring Kimberly on a little bit early so we can talk about her book. If you're just tuning in, we like to welcome you. Happy harvest time, happy Halloween. We are celebrating at the Fall Family Book Fair. This is day 2. Yesterday was such a success. We had, I think, 8 authors, including Dr. Matthew Knowles, who is the father of Beyonce and the manager and producer of Destiny's Child. He released his book called Destiny's Child, The Untold Story. So it was a great day yesterday. So we're hoping that today we have the same success, you know, sharing our stories and, you know, having some fun with the kids. Let's put our music back on real quick. Does anybody have any questions so far in the audience? If you do, feel free to put them in the chat or the Q&A, and we will bring them up going forward. But I guess we'll bring Kimberly on now. Kimberly, let's tell you a little bit about her. She is the publisher of several books, but this particular book is her newest, and it's called Our Friendship Matters, okay? The setting is, and the plot is 2 girlfriends, okay? I don't want to tell you too much because she might get me. I don't want to squeal on what's going to really happen, but these 2 girls come from 2 different worlds. One's African-American and one is Caucasian. They're best friends. They go to a private school, and they experience something socially tragic, I should say. And it changes their friendship. And I guess the book, in the end, you will see how it impacted them and were they able to get through the social tragic situation and continue their friendship. Now, that not only happens with teenagers, but it can happen with smaller children because they're so conscious and aware now of what's happening today. But it also can happen to adults, right? We're not exempt from that. You know, we have feelings, and when you talk about racism, it's a hard subject to swallow. It's not easy, especially when you are a person who looks at everyone as the human race instead of a race. That's what we are. You know, we practice unity here at Detroit Book City, and it could be tough. But what we are glad about is that our supporters, our book buyers, come from every walk of life, and we are so everly grateful for that, you know, because we do sell all genres at Detroit Book City. But without further ado, I would like to bring Kimberley Jones to the platform. Let's bring Kimberley on. Hi, Kimberley.
Hi.
Thanks for joining us today to share with us your awesome book that you've put on the market. You know, I know you had some other books in the past, and we bought them and we sold them at Detroit Book City. I was so proud of your books. Let me ask you real quick before we get into the newest book. Are you still selling those other books?
Yes, yes.
Do you have them today?
No, I don't, but they're still on Amazon.
They're still on Amazon. Tell us what
Mhm.
those other books are real quick, because I put you on 4 minutes early on purpose so that we can discuss your current book, but we want to talk about the other books that you have. Share with us real quick with some children books.
So my children's books is mainly for preschool, and they're talking about slavery or things that happened during those eras and those movements. And the way that I wrote the book is the way my grandma. Remember, I was telling you a couple of years ago that I got my stories from my grandma, which was 94 years old. And unfortunately, she passed last year.
Oh
But
my
she
goodness.
still had a long and healthy life.
Long life.
Yeah, she kept telling us, she was ready to go see her husband and stuff like that. So, and then, she passed. But the stories were like from my grandma, who had to actually walk to school. So she told us she had to walk 4.5 miles to school, and she had to walk back 4.5 miles. They wasn't able to ride the bus.
Okay.
And
we can
then,
understand those days.
Yeah.
Did she live in the South?
Yeah, South Carolina. Yep.
South Carolina. Okay.
Yep. She is from South Carolina, and one of the books that I really geared towards her was called The Long Walk to School. And that was the story about her telling us when she came home, it wasn't no homework, it wasn't no such thing as homework. Homework was later at night. So when they got home, they had to work. She said they picked cotton, they pick potatoes and things like that. They had to do house chores and everything before they go to bed. But before they get to bed, that's when their homework came in later on that night.
Gotcha. So the titles of your book, your other books, what are the titles of that so they can find them on Amazon?
So one of my titles is when I said like the long walk to school, and that was from my grandma. And she actually taught in an all Black school too, way back in the day. Another book is called Holiday Freedom. That book is about how back in maybe the early 1900s and the late 1800s, how slaves, they said it wasn't slaves back then, but after we was free, we had nowhere to go, so we had no choice but to stay on plantations. Right. So basically during the holidays, the only way that they could get freedom was to get a pass, to go see, like, some people had like uncles or their husband was on another plantation. They didn't have all, people wasn't on the family wasn't on the same plantation or whatever. So they had to get a pass from, the plantation master to actually go and celebrate holiday. So that's Holiday Freedom.
Okay. And what age range is that Holiday Freedom for?
Holiday Freedom, they're all a preschool. They're all
preschool. Preschool.
Yep,
books. Okay, great.
They're all for preschool. Another book is I'm trying to think.
It talks about slavery from the preschool level. It explains slavery. What was
I'm sorry.
What's the title of that book that talks about slavery, that explains slavery?
The one is called Our New World.
New World. Okay.
Our New World. Our New World is actually a preschool book too, as well. It's actually talking about a little boy named Adam who was coming from Africa, and then he was picked up by some Englishmen. He didn't know where he was going, and that was that's Our New World. And
we sold out of that book, just so you know. Very quick. Very quick.
Yeah, I actually have the second book to that too, is My New Home. Okay. And that's when they were arriving to America. They had to go to the slave trade, sit for a couple of days or whatever, and then on to America.
Wow. And all those books are for preschool kids. That's wonderful. So they'll be educated early on. That foundation matters,
Yep.
Let's talk about matters. Our friendship matters. You got your newest book. Why don't you show us your newest book? Can you bring it to the screen?
Yes.
Okay, great.
New book.
Okay, this is Kimberly's newest book, Our Friendships Matter. Okay, tell us about that great book. I gave a little synopsis of it, but tell us about it and how you were inspired to write that book.
This book, what inspired me to write this book was when African Americans started, the Black Lives Matter movement. So personally, I would go and search on the internet and watch the news. I would see like other groups like White Lives Matter, All Lives Matter, Blue Lives Matter forming against the Black Lives Matter movement. And some people say that it wasn't forming against it, but the thing is, I think it was taking the focus off the real issue, police brutality. So in my view, it wasn't fair or right, because I think that, we wasn't focusing, okay, yes, all lives do matter, blue lives matter, white lives matter, but let's not take the focus off the real issue with the police brutality against, African-American young men and female now. Back then, and people don't understand that this is like an ongoing situation, because back in the day, my grandma said this has been going on since her days, just a bunch of African-American males, being killed by police officers.
Right.
And, yeah, so she said it was going on then, and she was 94 years old when she was born in the 30s. So you have to realize that, right now we formed Black Lives Matter is to put a stop to it. And now it's getting to the point where it's becoming females too as well. And it's, it's becoming, overwhelming, for African-American, people, because, we still fear for our children. We still having children, and we fear for them going places, going to the store to pick up some milk for us or some sugar, or driving to the store and getting packages and coming back. We're scared, what might happen to our kids, and people don't understand of color, what it is to feel like that with our kids. So that was one inspiration in writing Our Friendship Matters. And another reason I wrote the book is actually for African American parents too, because sometimes we feel that we are, we have jobs and we're doing good for ourselves now, and we try to shelter our children from the truth, but it isn't good, because our children need to know things, why we shelter them, or why we feel that, we don't want them to go to the store, or we don't want them to go to a basketball game, or they have to have a group of people with them. So they don't understand. And some parents, don't inform their children of things that's happening. And we have to inform our children, because if we keep them away for situations like this, they'll never know what might they go to, they be going through. So they have to know about these things, and they have to expect, what happened if you get pulled over by a police officer or whatever. And then at one point too, I was thinking that, I just feel sad, because if we get pulled over by a police officer, we get like butterflies in our stomach. We're scared.
Instantly.
And because we don't know what happened to us, we're scared. So, my husband, a couple of years ago, we was in Missouri, and my husband got pulled over, and I got my phone out, my video. I was like, okay, I'm ready to record. And
Right.
He's like, what are you doing now? I was like, you don't know what's been going on. You've been deployed for a whole year, and I understand that you're in the Army, but times is different. We have to record this stuff, just in case. Yes. So, but in our reality, and the world is coming more diverse.
Yes, it is.
And it's coming more diverse, and then to see like a bunch of white young people, helping and fighting for us is a good thing too.
Kind of remind you of the 60s.
I know, yeah. They're tired of it too.
They're tired of it. I think a lot of people are tired of it. I get those phone calls to Detroit Book City. A lot of white people buying anti-racism books because they want that equality, and they say they want it for their kids. I had one woman call saying, "Hi, I'm such. I'm a white teacher at a white private school, and I'm looking for some books on anti-racism for our kids." I was so happy to get that phone call. I said, absolutely. Let me tell you what we have, So just having that that conversation with younger people, and them being aware, because I have a 17-year-old right now. She's a high school senior, and we have dialogue, about, and she goes to a diverse school. So I think it's commendable that you put this book out. But talk to us about the plot, though. What's happening here? Who are the main characters?
So the main characters are Sasha and Leah. So if you let me see if I can put this in my background so you can see it a little better.
All
So
right.
the main characters are
Oh, wonderful. There we are.
so the main characters is Sasha and Leah.
Okay.
So Sasha, she is the black girl, and Leah, she's the white girl, but they're best friends.
Okay.
So they have been best friends since elementary school. And so one day, they're in their senior year too as well.
Okay.
So I kind of made it like in their senior year where they can do a lot more in the book. So they was going through graduation and the high school prom and things like that. But when school was out or during school, Sasha, the black girl, she stays in the black neighborhood, which is pretty well financed too as well. And this book plot is the setting is in St. Louis, because we know St. Louis, they have been struggling a lot with police brutality.
Yes.
Yes. So this is where the setting is in St. Louis, in like suburb areas or whatever. So Sasha had ran into an old friend by the name of Ricardo, who she used to play with as a child.
Okay.
And so, she met up with him later on in life, when she was graduating, going through senior prom and stuff. And she left her book at school one day. So she was like, okay, let me go back to school and get my book. But then she saw Ricardo, walking, and she was like, hey, you want to ride? He was like, yeah, I haven't talked to you in a while. We can catch up on some things. So on the way going, to school or whatever, they got into a little conversation and things like that. Sasha asked him, what are you doing? How's it going? And he was, all nonchalant, I'm ready to get out of here. I'm just sick of being a suspect. And so Sasha she didn't know what he was talking about, because her parents are well financed.
Right.
Her mom is a doctor, her dad is a lawyer. So they try to shy her away from what's going on in the world, because they're fortunate and able to provide things for their kids.
Right.
So she was like, why are you saying that? Why are you thinking you're a suspect? Or, why do you want to get out of here? And so, he was getting kind of frustrated with her, because, here she is going to this private school, with all the people with the money, and she doesn't understand. So he was getting frustrated with her, and he's like, you know what? You go to this private school, you guys have all this money and stuff like that, and you don't even know who you are. So he jumped out the car, he said, just pull over. And he was like, just let me out, downtown near the Arc. And the Arc, is the famous, thing about St. Louis, the St. Louis Arc. So he was like, and he came back, when he got out the car, he came back and he said, hey, you need to find out who you really are. So those words stuck with her during the whole book or whatever, saying that who I really am, I'm a black girl going to a private school. My parents had a good job. I drive a Mercedes. Don't I know who I am? Yes, you know who you are, but do you know who you are as an African American? What can happen to you, whatever. So later on in life, she started, going through, his Facebook pages, and then she found out that his best friend was killed by police.
Oh.
Coming from a basketball game. And then, she saw some people protesting downtown, and then she didn't know why they was protesting for, but, because like I said, she had the good life. She wasn't worried about things like that. Right. So when she saw him, she got more, she intrigued in the stories, like, what's going on? Like, I want to know what's going on. So throughout the book, she wants to get involved. She wants to help protest, but the plot is her friend Leah, which is the white girl, she's getting jealous or whatever, because she doesn't understand anything or whatever, and that's how it is. If we educate each other, then we can be aware of, both surroundings. So she doesn't know what's going on. So she was like getting jealous. Leah, Sasha's getting all these new friends. It's not because she want to just be friends with, African American people, but she can relate, to what's going on with people in her culture. And Leah doesn't understand. So on her behalf, she just getting jealous because she, that's her best friend. And she thinks she's just shying away and don't want to hang around her. But, so they have a big struggle, have argument, a big argument with, Sasha is protesting for Black Lives Matter. And Leah, she wants to get back at Sasha. So she tries to get back by protesting with All Lives Matter. And she doesn't really understand, the whole plot. She just thinks it's like a black and a white thing, and it's really not.
Right. She don't understand. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's basically the book. Is just two best friends that's struggling through, the Black Lives Matter movement because they really don't understand what's going on in the world today.
So this awesome, profound book, God, I call it that because it's so timely, it's relevant, and it may help a lot of friendships because we do have a lot of kids out here who are privileged and they are shied away from what's really going on in the real world. And you're right, parents, including myself, we do over worry about our kids when they walk outside that door just because of the civil unrest that's going on today. But your book is very, very engaging. It is very timely, and I know there's a lot of book clubs on the high school level that need to have that in their hands for sure. I see you got some very good ratings too from some well-known authors.
Yes.
Like Rita Williams Garcia, I know who she is. So you can tell that it's a good book for her to have such a complimentary comment about your book.
Yes, and she gave me some pointers throughout the book. She is a lovely person, inside and out. I didn't. Yes, so I didn't expect for her to do a blurb, but then she's like, "Hey, yeah, I'll do a blurb for you," and then we email back and forth, and she, something she said, she's like, what? She said, this is such a good book. She said, in the future, you're not even going to be even needing blurbs, for your book. It's just going to be that good. And I was like, well, thank you. She is such a sweet person. She gave me so much pointers. And man, I mean.
Tell us about your background. Didn't you study history?
History? No, I'm actually, I studied early childhood education.
Early childhood education. Okay, that's.
I'm just fascinated with history, though.
Right, because I noticed all your
African American history.
I noticed all your books are impacted with history. So that is wonderful. Congratulations on your book. How many pages is it? How much does it cost? Where can they get your book?
My book is $18.95 on Amazon. The ebook is $3.49. It's on Amazon. It's on you can just type it in and all kind of websites that pop up. It's actually the last day of tour was yesterday, but it's going back on tour too in November. So yeah, they can find it on Amazon. They can find it in Barnes and Nobles. Any bookstore that sells books, you can find it there.
Let me ask you this, because you wrote this book, right? So that's your imagination talking through people, right? What kind of advice do you give to young African-American kids who go to a private school, who are privileged, who still kind of live in a neighborhood, which is kind of well off, but there is a public school in the area, and they still have friends on both sides? If they do get in a situation like that, where they know somebody who lost somebody, what kind of advice do you give them to sustain their friendships with the other side?
I would say, mainly I've been writing a bunch of guest posts, and the thing is, it even though we can say young people can educate our friends, but at some point it starts in the home. It starts in the home. So if parents can, bring diversity in the home, then we won't have any problems. So exactly it. Yeah. So, and then as African American young people having privilege too as well, they can bring books like these, The Hate You Give, Our Friendship Matters, you know, Dare Justice, all these books they can bring into these schools and to their teachers like, hey, we need to read these books because this is what is going on in the world. Right. And we have a group over here in, because be honest with you, private schools is kind of separated too. Right. It's either you have the kids with the money or the kids on the scholarships, then you still have the, you know, even you still have Black kids and you still have white kids, you know, so it's still separated too. Right. So
it's going to take a lot of work. It's going to take us though, you know, it's going to take us to do it. It takes unity to make that.
Yes. And that was the main reason for writing this book too, is because we can't just see things on just the African American side. We have to see things on both sides. So at the end of the day too, if someone reads this book, I want them to say, okay, let me put my foot in Sasha's shoes, and let me put my feet also in Leah's, you know, shoes, because she's coming from a point where she doesn't understand the African American community.
It's not her fault. That's the way, you know, their upbringing. So I'm so glad that, you know, I hate that the pandemic brought us to this situation, but we are now more awakened of how important it is to know that we are one race, the human race, opposed to Black and white, and you know, that's so tiring and it's so worn out. I'm just glad that people, even though we opened up our store with the African American focus, you know, selling African American titles, and we sell a ton of them. We also sell all genres though. And, you know, we're a family bookstore. So I'm glad that we still have all races that come to Detroit Book City to buy. You know, I'm really grateful for it.
Yes, and I commend you too for having, you know, a store where people can come learn about African American culture, because, you know, at one point, you know, and to be honest with you, I did land a publishing company. It's not a literary agent, which is okay, but I'm still with, I was blessed to land a publishing company, and my dad said, hey, well, you got to crawl before you walk. But the thing is, we have to understand too that even though we're not one of the big fives or stuff like that, it's still a blessing, because a lot of people don't believe in our stories. You know, a lot of people think that only white people can write. No, maybe white people can write accordingly, but we have our own language, how we write in our book or whatever. Yeah.
Our pain and our glory and our existence. That's what I call it. Yes. But thank you so much for being a part of our second annual Fall Family Book Fair and sharing all of your books. I wish I should have told you early on to have those other ones just to kind of show, because our world, we sold out of our world, and I am going to be calling you again to get a bundle of those. I think they're going to sell very well, especially since we have a diverse audience that support Detroit Book City. But good luck to you, and congratulations on such an awesome book. I know it's going to go very far. This book came out when? When did you publish it? This month?
This book was actually published October 5th this month.
October 5th. Brand new. Congratulations. I think this is going to be your big hit right now. This is going to be your big hit. Yeah, and you have some phenomenal authors that are on the market that gave you reviews. And that's very important. The reviews are very important. Well, again, if you're just tuning in, we're talking to Kimberley Jones. She is the author of Our Friendship Matters. This is a new book that just got published on October the 5th. And again, she'll tell you where you can get the book.
You can get the book from any bookstore that sells books. You can get it from Amazon. You can get it from Barnes & Noble. You can get it from Books A Million. Any store that sells books.
Wonderful. Well, Kimberley, thanks again for participating, and you'll be hearing from me very soon.
Okay.
Stay safe out there. Practice hand sanitation and distancing. Wear your mask, and please make sure you vote on Tuesday. Okay?
Oh yeah. Well, I already voted.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful.
I did my early voting. Yeah.
I know. That's what's up. All right. Yep. Have a great day and happy Halloween. Have some fun today.
All right. Thank you for having me.
Oh, our pleasure, Juan. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. Whoa, that was fun talking to Kimberley. She has such a great book out. You know, she's the author of several books that talk about Black history, and all of her books are for preschool kids. So I'm hoping to connect with her. I am going to connect with her after our book fair this weekend to make sure that we add all of her books to our collection. When we first opened up our store, we had ordered some from her, and they sold out so quickly because of the topic. You know, it's relevant and it helps. Like she said, we have to start with our kids to release this racism that's going on, to dismantle it. It's gonna have to start with our young people. So I am so glad that God put it in her energy to write those types of books, and you guys have to actually see it to appreciate it. All right, spooky, spooky. Next, who's our next author? Let's see. We have Rebecca Outlaw, and we're gonna bring her on right now so she can talk to you about her book. And then she's also going to do some storytelling. All right, let's bring Rebecca Outlaw to the platform. Hi, Rebecca.
Hello. Hello, everybody.
Hi, guys. Woo, look at the kids. Aren't they so cute? Oh my gosh. What's their names, Rebecca?
You want to tell your names? Tell your names. He's the oldest.
Rocky.
Okay.
He's the second oldest.
Mellow.
What's your name?
Oh, okay.
Third grandson. What's your name?
Avery.
AJ. And this is our diva. What's your name?
She's the youngest one, right?
She is.
Well, awesome. Tell us about Tickle Mite's adventure.
Woo!
Ooh.
Mites. I'm glad you asked. We just became an LLC, so Tickle Mites is now an LLC. I'm so excited about that.
Wonderful. Congrats.
Thank you. Thank you. Tickle Mites is a book that is based on my playtime with my grandsons. My little diva wasn't born at the time that I started writing Tickle Mites. And what I wanted to do is create something that would give them lessons, but make it fun and hear their giggles. I love the giggle of children. Love it.
That's awesome.
So if I can make them laugh, that's what I wanted to do. So there's a birthday.
Okay.
And it's AJ's birthday in the book. And they spend a lot of time together even now. And in the book, they're spending a lot of time together. They're cousins. These two are brothers, and AJ and Ari are their cousins. And AJ and Ari are brother and sister. So they spend a lot of time together, and they want to make children as happy as they are when they are together. So what they do at the birthday party is they make a wish, and they wish if we could only make all kids as happy as we are. And when that happens, poof, poof, frosting splashes on each one of their faces, and they become what are called Tickle Mites. They are candy characters. So what happens is when they see a child that's sad, and Rocky does it best, sing the jingle. They sing a jingle.
Tickle mice, 1, 2, 3. Tickle mice, clap, clap, clapping. Oh, tickle. Poof, poof, poof.
Yay! Wonderful. That's great.
When they sing that jingle, they turn into candy.
Oh.
And only children can see them as candy. Adults cannot see them as candy. Adults only see them as Rocky, AJ, and Romello.
Okay.
Except for Gamma and Papa, because we were Tickle Mites when we were younger. So we're the only ones who know.
Gotcha.
So it's a great story, but I also give lessons. We talk about stereotyping, racism, giving, kindness, bullying, and we use candy to do it.
Awesome. Let's see the cover of the book. Can we see the cover?
Absolutely. That's
There's
Tickle
Tickle
Mites, The
Mites.
Adventures of Rocky, AJ, and Romello.
Awesome. Oh my gosh, isn't that wonderful? Who did your illustration?
His name is Josh Jackson. He's no longer my illustrator, but he does body art. So he's really good at that.
Because it looks like the kids. I mean, he did a great job on that. It looks
Yes,
just
he
like the
did.
kids.
And you can actually tell who's who.
Who's who? Yeah, I can. Oh, isn't that awesome? So what story do you have for us today?
Well, I'm glad you asked. We're going to go into the bullying story, which is one of my faves. Should I read the bullying story, guys?
Yeah, that's a relevant topic, so that would be great.
It is a really good topic, and it's very real.
Yes,
And now
it
we
is.
have to think about cyberbullying, so I probably have to incorporate that into volume 2 of Tickle
Oh,
Mites.
that's volume 2, definitely. Cyberbullying. Yes.
Mhm. But this one, all right, it's called Bully Be Gone, chapter 4, Bully Be Gone. Rocky, Mello, their mom was waking them up for school. Yes, Mom, they both said at the same time with a sleepy voice. Come on, sleepyheads, it's time to get up for school. Okay, Mom. Go potty, wash your hands, brush your teeth, get dressed. Hurry so you can make it to breakfast in time at school. Okay, Mom, I'm up. Mello was always the first one up. But as soon as he realized it was the last day before summer vacation, that got him up a whole lot faster. Rocky, what? I'm so tired. It's the last day of school. Wait, what? Oh, yeah, it sure is. Yes. That made Rocky get up faster. Boys, I said it was time. Oh. Before she knew it, the boys were up, went to the potty, washed their hands, brushed their teeth, took their vitamins, and were dressed. See you later, Dad. See you later, Daddy. Okay, boys. Have a great day at school. Yes, let's go, boys. Okay, Mom. Wait. Do you need your book bags? Nope. It's the last day of school. AJ, are you? Oh, you're up and dressed? It must be the last day of school or something. It sure is, Mama. The last day of school. Yay! Okay, okay. Did you use? Yep. I used the potty, washed my hands, brushed my teeth, but I can't open my vitamins, Mom. Okay, I'll help you. Good job, baby. Thanks, Mama. Okay, then let's go. Yes. All three seemed to always pull up to the school at the same time. AJ, hey, Rocky, hey, Mello, hey, AJ. All three boys waved to their moms as they drove off and waved to each other. The boys walked fast into the cafeteria to eat their breakfast. I hope they have pancakes today. I'm so hungry. Me too, me three. Let's show them at school. We're talking about bullying. There's the bully right there. They're coming up on it. As they went up to the counter to see what the day's breakfast was, they heard some loud talking. Stop, leave me alone. Shut up, you crybaby. Now give me your lunch money. No, leave me alone. As the bigger boy was shoving and pushing the smaller boy, Rocky, Mello, and AJ became very worried. Other students were in the hall, just standing there watching. Mello said in a very worried voice, we gotta do something. I agree, but we've never turned into tickle mites at school before. I know, Rocky, but we can't let Jackson keep bullying Sancho like that. It's plain to see that Jackson's not happy. And he makes anybody who bumps into him unhappy. We must do something. I agree. Thanks, AJ. You're welcome, Mello. But look, guys, we could get into trouble with Principal Miles, but I do agree we have to do something. They forgot that adults didn't see them as tickle mites. The adults only saw them as Rocky, AJ, and Romello. Jackson has been so mean all year, and this is the last straw. As they walked to where Jackson and Sancho were, a teacher walked by and spoke and broke up the bullying. Okay, boys, let's break this up. Now, did either of you eat breakfast? Yes, Mr. Williams, said Jackson. Yes, Mr. Williams, said Sancho. Okay, then get to your classroom, boys. Go. Yes, sir. Yes, Mr. Williams. Phew, that was close, you guys. I know. Whoa. Then Mr. Williams saw that three of them and the other students were standing in the hall watching. Get to your classes, boys. All of you, get to your classes. Yes, Mr. Williams. They all three said at the same time. And there's Mr. Williams with the three boys. Nice. When they all went into their own classrooms, Rocky, AJ, and Romello, they just couldn't help thinking about what happened in the hall with Jackson and Sancho. This troubled Mello because he really didn't like to see anybody unhappy. Mello even felt sorry for Jackson. The three were troubled by it so much and thinking about it so hard that they all began to sing the jingle. Sing the jingle, guys.
Tickle my, 1, 2, 3. Tickle my, clap, clap, happy. Oh, tickle.
Busto Charlie. There they are in their classroom. Now let's see what they turned into. Let's see what candy they turned into. Oh yeah, they've turned into the Tickle Mites at school. Rocky was a swollen red candy apple, and he almost couldn't fit through the classroom doors. His hair was an afro of green cotton candy. He seemed to have red and blue candy rings on each one of his fingers. Show your rings. And his shoes were puffy red cotton candy. Mello became a swollen caramel candy apple. His clothes were covered in caramel corn sticking to a candy apple, and his hair was hanging melted caramel. He was a huge candy apple caramel corn ball, and his shoes seemed to drip chocolate fudge, but they never touched the ground. No one could tell it was Mello. AJ became stretchy green taffy candy, and his hair was a big red green candy apple for a hat. He smelled like green candy apple. His shoes were 2 green candy apple shoes. The 3 smelled like green candy and caramel corn. None of the students knew it was Rocky, Mello, and AJ. When they came into the hall together at the school, all the students began laughing so hard, but teachers didn't even know it was the Tickle Mites. All the adults could see were Rocky, Romello, and AJ. When they walked through the halls a bit, making all the children who saw them laugh so hard, they finally found Jackson's classroom. They opened the doors and went in. That's how the Tickle Mites look. Let's see what they did to Jackson. Hey, Jackson! Jackson was the only one in the whole school who wasn't laughing. What happened? Usually when the boys became Tickle Mites, it tickled all the children who saw them. Why wasn't Jackson laughing? Jackson said, hey, how do you all know my name? The 3 reached out at the same time and touched Jackson with a gentle and caring touch. Something different and special happened. Poof, poof, blasto, charu. A swirly tornado cloud of cotton candy, colorful candy, and caramel corn surrounded Jackson. Whoa, 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 whoa! The candy seemed to tickle Jackson. When the tornado cloud of cotton candy, colorful candy, and caramel apple corn slowed down, all the students looked at Jackson in a happy stare. Wow, Jackson! What? Jackson jumped up and looked in the mirror that Mr. Clinker had in his classroom. What he saw made Jackson himself happy. He had a very happy smile on his face. What Jackson smiling? Jackson never, ever smiled. He also had blue cotton candy afro hair. Not only that, Jackson felt very, very happy on the inside. After he stared at himself in the mirror for about 10 seconds, Jackson began to laugh so hard like the other students in school. Jackson felt happy. He hadn't felt happy in a long time. There's Jackson. Well, let's see how this was solved.
Hey.
Then Sancho stood up and went over to Jackson. Hey, Jackson, I really like the color of your hair, and it smells like cotton candy. Then Jackson looked at Sancho and said, hey, Sancho, thanks. I'm sorry about the way I was mean to you. And to everyone else, please forgive me. I have been so sad lately, and I don't know why, but I took it out on everyone. I am so sorry. Sancho said, hey, it's okay. I forgive you. I forgave you when it happened. My mom and dad always taught me, if I want people to forgive me, then I must forgive. Thank you so much, Sancho, for forgiving me. You are now my friend. I sure am. After Rocky, Mello, and AJ heard that, they began to laugh with them. In fact, the whole school of students began laughing so hard. And that's Jackson apologizing to Sancho. You guys remember the jingle that you sing when you turn back into Rocky, AJ, and Romello?
Take my street to one. Take my we are done. Give
Fully be gone.
Awesome. Wow.
Thank you.
Wonderful. So you wrote this story, huh?
Yes. That story, people, we understand there are victims, but why is the bullier, why are they bullying? What's the reason that they do what they do? If we get to the source, then we solve the problem of bullying. I know we have victims and we do have to comfort them and protect them, but the bulliers, they need help too. And they're crying out. That's their way of crying out.
Right. So what advice do you give your grandchildren about bullying? I mean, I'm sure one of them have gone to school and have dealt with somebody like that. What do you tell children and parents?
Oh my gosh. Actually, and it's interesting you say that. Our oldest grandson was in a school, we won't name the school, and there was a kid that they were actually friends and we thought they were friends. But this one day he made, my grandson, I guess, made him upset for some reason. They were talking about basketball or something, and the kid said, you know what? I'm mad. He said, I'm going to bring my dad's gun to school and I'm going to shoot everybody here.
Oh, wow.
Yes.
Was this recently?
No, it was a couple years ago.
Okay.
Yeah. And we did not hesitate. And, we did ask him, what happened? Tell us the whole thing, what went on,
What age, by the way?
was he, excuse me?
What age are the kids?
Rocky was 7 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah, I know. And how does a kid like that know about guns and about getting and bringing it to school? And that was back where all the school shootings were happening. So we asked him if he was serious, although we took it seriously. I called the principal right away. And we asked, and they had actually pulled Rocky into the office, and I didn't like that because they should have called me or myself, and we're co-parenting with our daughter. So they should have called my daughter, and we all could have gone into there and to the classroom or to the school and talked to the parents and the student and all of that. They did suspend the student for saying that because it was a school, thank God, that did take bullying or even threats of it seriously.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they did suspend him. He was back in school maybe about a week later. And here, Rocky, we're friends again.
He learned from that, though. They have to
some
kind of punishment level where the kids can learn how serious those
exactly.
kind of, even from a 7-year-old with things happening today, right?
Right. And its suspension goes on your permanent record. So that's something he'll live with for the rest of his life,
Wow.
And we talk to our children about not, doing the same. Do not make fun of children. Don't pick with them. If they're being picked with, tell the teacher for them, because maybe the student is too scared to tell. And we always tell them, let them know, you don't have to tell anybody that you told, because then there's that, you're the messenger and you told on me and that kind of thing. So we have to think of all aspects of it, and it's kind of scary when you think about it. So
especially middle schoolers, it get worse in middle school, right? It gets worse before it gets better. So middle school, I feel for them.
Right.
The cover of the book again, please. Can we see the cover?
Sure.
And if people buy the book, how many pages in it? Is it a chapter book? And what age range would read the book?
This is a children's chapter book, and it targets 6 to 12-year-olds.
Oh, wow.
They're the ones who would understand the readings and be able to interpret it. Although both my grandsons read it last year for their school assignments. And it was a pretty cool thing to tell them who's the author, my grandmother.
My grandmother. And by the way, you are such a great storyteller. Oh my goodness.
Thank
Thought
you.
about doing like, what do they call voiceover for storytelling? You know,
Oh, I don't.
thought about
There's
that?
good money in that, though.
It's really good money. I can tell you that it is. You should
Thank
think
you.
about
Thank
that.
you.
Work with
I
the
mean,
kids.
and a lot of the stories today, there were no stories that target us. And now I'm finding this, which is a great thing that you're doing this venue, and a lot of other venues that I've attended, that we have the African American characters.
Right.
You know, we're the theme of the story. We're the primaries on it, and I love that.
Yes.
But I wanted my grandchildren to see themselves in a positive light. You have greatness in you is one thing that I always tell them every day. This one of their affirmations that they are great. God put greatness in you. So what better way than to write a story positively regarding them as primaries?
I agree. And I can see all three of them or four of them being storytellers one day, or even writers,
Yes.
you know? You're
And they
implanting that seed right now, whether you know it or not. You're implanting
are.
it. And I can look at their face, they're so excited. They probably heard your story 1,000 times, but it's like they heard it for the first time. Look at the smile back there with the 70s wig on. Oh, look, when you
It's supposed to be like cotton candy hair. We tried to copy that.
yummy, yummy, right? So look, when we look inside your book, tell us what we're going to move on to the next author, but I want the audience to know, because this is a book fair, and I want you to sell your book to the audience that's listening and everybody out there in the world. When they open up your book, tell us what's the title of each chapter, so they'll have an idea.
Good. We do have a content text. You're going to meet the boys. You're going to find out what they're like. What do they like to do? How do they like to play with each other? What are they about? And what actually prompted the spirit of tickle mites so that they can make other children happy. So you'll meet the boys. You'll find out about the birthday wish.
Okay.
Sad, be happy. You'll find out how they first turn into tickle mites, the jingle that comes to them all of a sudden to turn into tickle mites. Then bully be gone, all about giving. Not your fault. There's a family that's going through a divorce, and the father and the parents are kind of yelling at the child and taking it out on the child. So he finds out it's not his fault. The best gift ever is about, and I actually, one of the things that I was told by my mentors when writing this book was, whatever you're feeling, put that into the book. Chapter The Best Gift Ever, which is chapter 7, I actually literally teared up on that chapter, because it's about a brother who's in the service, and his little brother wants him to come home for his birthday.
Okay.
And he doesn't think he's coming, so he surprises him.
Oh,
But yeah, and then there's race. We talk about race, where there are stereotypes in racism. And then Butternut is born at the end of the book. So then she has her own adventures.
where's Butternut? Can we see you, Butternut? Let the
So
audience
Butternut,
see you.
that's
Hi.
Butternut.
Oh,
Say hi, baby.
baby.
And these are her adventures.
And that's your cover. All right, awesome. So let our audience know where they can get your book at and how much it costs, number of pages.
My website is www.ticklemitesfranchise.com. You can email me at rebecca.o@ticklemitesfranchise.com. And they're all over on every book venue. I found out my books are in Russia, China, and they are in Spanish.
Oh,
So you can get them at anybody.com, book.com, Amazon, Target, Walmart, barnesandnoble.com. So I'm really proud of that.
well, also, listening audience, you can also get her book. You can head to our Facebook page, or you can head to our website and open up that 2020 complimentary souvenir guide. Click on her ad, and it will take you directly to her website. Well, thank you so much for being on our platform.
Thank
and
you.
sharing your awesome book with the audience. I know you're going to do very well with that book. You know, you represent very well. You totally engaged in your grandkids. They all look so cute in their costume. Oh, they're so cute. I love kids. So, oh my gosh, you can't go wrong writing a children's book, especially with the topics that you have in your book. Those are some real topics in there, you know, and if you engage your kids early on with these issues, then they'll be successful handling situations later on.
Yes.
Very
Yes, very
important to
much.
plant that seed. So I commend you, Grandma.
Thank you. Thank you so much. I'm honored. Thank you so much.
Our pleasure. Hey guys, have a good Halloween.
Say
Okay?
bye. Happy Halloween.
God bless all of you and stay safe. All right. All right, Rebecca. We'll be talking to you soon. Have a great day.
Okay. Bye-bye. You too. Thank you.
Okay, wasn't that wonderful to meet Rebecca? Now we need to get back into our mode. It's Halloween. Yes, it is. For those of you who missed out on the storytelling that I did a little bit earlier, we're gonna do it again, okay, at 1:40. So get ready for spooky sounds, Halloween pumpkin fun. It's not over yet. So we're gonna switch gears and now we're gonna introduce our next book author. Her name is Florenza Lee. We're gonna bring Florenza Lee to the platform. Okay, we'll wait till she comes in. There, woo! There she is. Oh, I love it.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
good. And I am actually traveling, so we're going to see how this goes because I am in my car.
Yesterday at the football game, wherever you are, honey, stories can be told, right?
Yes.
That's the benefit of technology. Well, I
Isn't
love
it
your Mardi
fabulous?
Gras. Your Mardi Gras look is fabulous. Woo, I love
Yeah.
it.
We just grabbed this when we were on our way out the door.
Right, 'cause I asked you, are you gonna wear a costume? You said, well, I don't know. Well, you got it, honey. Looks good on you. So share with us your book and tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, well, my name is Florenza Lee. I am an author. I write interactive, engaging children's books that focus on social emotional learning. I also have concept books that teach the alphabet. I have books on mindfulness. I have a military series as well. I am a narrative coach, and I am an advocate for our nation's veterans. I'm a wife and a mom, and I own 3 businesses, so life is good.
Yeah, life is good. Wonderful.
Yes,
So what
and
book will you be sharing with us today?
yes, as we are seated, you can't see around me, but I'm actually very close to an Air Force base. And so I thought this would be a wonderful time to read from one of my newest books. It's called When Life Gives Us Wind, and it features a little girl named Ziamara and her mom who is in the military. And it can be applicable for anything. It's for any time a child may find that they are away from their parents, their caregivers, and they're in a new place, and just to look at what that might look like.
Let's see the cover again. Put it up a little bit higher so we can see When Life Gives Us Wind. Beautiful cover.
Yes,
All
thank
right.
you. All right, and so is the lighting good? Do we need
Yeah,
to
the light is
shift
good.
anything?
Hey, look good. Yeah.
All right, perfect, guys. Okay. And you may find my books anywhere that books are sold online: Target, Walmart, Books A Million, Barnes and Noble, my website, Amazon, and I'm certain that'll be posted later.
Are you
Um,
self-published, by the way? Are you self-published or are you through a publisher?
so I am a publisher. So
Okay.
Words to Ponder Publishing is me. And so if you go to the website, you'll get a chance to see my entire catalog there.
Awesome.
We're going to try not to move too much so you look like you're on a ride with me.
Okay.
So how close up is this for the kids to see the pictures? Are you able to see it?
Wonderful. Yes, very good.
Okay.
Yep.
It says, hi, my name is Ziamara. Mom calls me Mars. It's just Mom and me. Mom wears a uniform and combat boots. She's in the military. I'm very proud of her. I love when my mom receives orders. We have moved 8 times. I like meeting new friends, eating different foods, and learning new languages. And boys and girls, you'll kind of get an idea of where she is there. I learned that hello in German is Guten Tag. Thank you in Hawaiian is mahalo. Please in Spanish is por favor. Goodbye in French is au revoir. Moving can be scary, but also a lot of fun. Mom says when we have Mom says we have to make the best of every situation life gives us. She says very few people experience all that we have. We are very fortunate. And boys and girls, I just want you to see there.
That's a good choice.
Mhm. When I'm nervous, Mom says, Mars, when life gives us wind, we have two options. We may complain, I respond, or fly kites. She says it doesn't matter where we live, as long as we're together, we have everything we will ever need. One day, Mom picks me up from school. She isn't smiling as much as usual. She looks very serious. I ask, is everything okay? Everything is just fine, she replies, and we drive home. Uh-oh, boys and girls. Does that look like everything's just fine? I don't know. Once we are inside and put away our things, I help prepare dinner. As we eat, I ask about her day. Mars, she says, I have to talk to you about something important. I bite my bottom lip. My heart beats a little faster and tears begin to sting my eyes. Mom reaches over and holds my hand, then pats her leg for me to come to her lap. She tells me she has received orders. Now, boys and girls who aren't familiar with the military, orders is what you get when you're being told that you have to move somewhere else. Orders? We're moving? When? Where? How soon before the Packers come? I love moving. Oh boy, look at there. Doesn't she look excited? Mars, you will not be able to go with me this time. I I don't think I heard Mom correctly. I'm so confused. We have never been apart. Not ever. Did 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 I hear you say I can't go with you? I stammer. Mom explains that deployments are when service members relocate to faraway places. Families are not allowed to go. If I can't go with you, where would I live? She says I will stay with Grandma and Poppy. I haven't seen them since I was very small. I have never stayed with my grandparents by myself. What if I don't like living with them? What if they don't want me to live with them? Boys and girls, have you ever had questions like that? Yeah, those are difficult questions sometimes. Mom assures me that it won't be forever. Before you know it, I will be back home. When life gives us wind, she says. I open my mouth to respond, but the words will not come out. Inside, I am screaming, we complain, Mommy, we complain. That's not what her mother was expecting, is it? No. But sometimes you want to scream inside. We spend the next few weeks discussing ways we will remain in touch. Mom shows me on the computer where she will be stationed. It looks very far away. She tells me again that everything will be just fine. The time arrives for us to travel to my grandparents. We pack my clothes, toys, and books. As we ride to the airport, she tells me all about her childhood. She smiles as she talks. I love seeing her smile. She has the best laugh ever. And boys and girls, I hope that I'm lifting this far enough for you to see the pictures. It has been a very long time since I saw my grandparents. I am very nervous. As we board the plane, Mommy tells me again about when she was very young, like me, and all the fun times she had with Grandma and Poppy as a child. The flight is long. We talk the whole way there. Grandma and Poppy are waiting for us when we arrive. They are so happy to see us. Grandma has baked chocolate chip cookies. They are my favorite. Smelling them makes me forget about being nervous. Boys and girls, I can't see you, but raise your hand if you like chocolate chip cookies. Mm-mm. Miss Janice has both hands in the air. Poppy takes my things to Mom's old room. Around their house are pictures of her when she was little. Some pictures are hard to tell if they are of Mommy or of me. Boys and girls, do you have a family member that has a wall of pictures? And when you look on the pictures, you laugh because the hairstyles are funny and the clothes are funny? Yes. Later, Mom helps me get settled into her old room. She talks about all her childhood memories. She laughs when she tells me the names of her stuffed animals and the people in the pictures on the wall. I giggle when I see them. Boys and girls, don't giggle if you see those pictures on the wall because all the styles come back. You're wearing something today that your mom wore like in the 80s and the 70s. Well, that's your grandma, maybe. Well, anyway, don't laugh. When it's time for Mom to leave, I begin to cry. She says she loves me and for me to have fun. We all give her hugs and kisses. Boys and girls, I don't know, but doesn't that mom look a little happy to be getting on that in that taxi? After supper, Grandma shows me more pictures of Mom growing up. Some are funny, others are beautiful, and all are of my mom. When it's time for bed, they come into the room to say good night. Poppy sees my book and says, Mars, this was your mom's favorite book. May I read it to you before you go to sleep? I say yes right away. Boys and girls, if you buy the book, I want you to look at the pictures and then tell me which one is your favorite. Mine is when um, baby Ziamara is pinching Santa's nose. Poppy uses funny voices as he reads. He knows all the parts by heart. Grandma and I giggle as he speaks. Give you just a little more. After he reads the book, Poppy says he is happy I am staying with them. Grandma says she is very happy too. Both of them give me a big hug and say good night. As they are leaving, I smile and hug Panda. I'm going to miss Mommy, but I'm also going to love staying with my grandparents. When life gives us wind, I whispered to Panda as they turned off the lights to leave. We may complain, says Poppy, or fly kites, giggled Grandma. Boys and girls, that's where they got that from her grandma. I close my eyes and go to sleep. Mom was right. I am going to be just fine. So thank you, boys and girls, for allowing me to read my book, When Life Gives Us Wind. It's about a little girl named Ziamara and her mom who's in the military, and Ziamara has to go stay with her grandparents. But while she's there, she learns so much about herself that she didn't even know before.
Wow, such a fabulous book. I mean, captivating storyline. I don't think I've ever read a book about a kid who parents are in the military. You like
Yeah.
you filled in a gap that was that was needed. It was creatively written and illustrated.
Thank
Wonderful.
you. Thank
So
you.
that's a
And
taste of Florenza Lee, huh?
yes, and so for the boys and girls, November is Military Appreciation Month. And if you go to any of my social media sites, we're actually running a special. So you can get this book, and there's another book that has a different character. That one's Welcome Home Daddy Love Lexi, and we're doing a really good special right now for Military Appreciation Month.
Wow, thanks for letting us know it's Military Appreciation Month because we have a lot of military products
Yes,
from DVDs to books. You know, they were
yes,
donated to us, and
yes,
they talk about the Black experience too. So we're gonna put those up. Thanks for the heads up.
yes, yes.
So, really quick, tell us about your other. That is such a fabulous book. I'm gonna talk about that book. We need to have some of that in Detroit Book City. I think that's a really hot book. But tell us
Thank
about the
you.
other titles that you have. Do you have any of them with you, or can you just?
Oh yeah. Oops. You know what? If I can get down here, I did bring two others with me. If
Okay.
I don't topple you guys over, um, so I have, which was the other one that we had discussed me reading.
Okay.
Um, this was actually my favorite to read.
I
It's called Happy Birthday, Amari.
Nice.
And I just want to show you briefly.
Okay. This is a book fair.
Um, yes, some of the illustrations in this, boys and girls. Are you just not drawn into this art? Can you see that?
Very nice. Like a painting. It looks like a painting.
Doesn't it? And if you look, boys and girls, you'll see that Xiomara has a skin condition called vitiligo.
Yes.
And believe it or not, that has absolutely nothing to do with the book. Sometimes it just is what it is. And in this book, you have to answer a question every single page because Amari is asking you a question in every page. So remember, I said my books are interactive. You're going to have to do something. Also, boys and girls, there's a way for authors to write where we actually contribute to other book projects and we help other authors in their journey. And this is a book from my good friend, Miss Debbie. And Debbie wrote a Christmas book, and I just want to show you. She is a renowned artist, and this was her first Christmas book. And I'm trying to find very quickly, just, don't you look like you are captured in that snow?
Wow.
Just
Yes.
to
You
show
got to
you
get
this.
past Halloween first, but I love the snow.
Yes, I know. I'm such a Christmas baby.
I am too. I am too.
I love the sights and the sounds and the smells, and I love that everybody smiles around Christmas. So
It's a time of celebration of family and Thanksgiving and even the
yes,
small gifts are small things. Gifts,
hmm
small things are nice. Just seeing
yes,
people we haven't seen in a long time, and we don't know what Christmas is going to be like this year with the
yeah,
things that we're going through, the pandemic, and
hmm
but we have to make the best of it.
yes.
Thank you for
And
sharing.
so yes, and if you go to my website, I have currently I have I think 10 or 11 titles published. We have 3 new books that are coming out in the next 2 weeks. And then I have another 3 that will be available the first of the year. In total, my goal this year was to publish 12. I think we'll get out the year with 7 or 8 in total. So just keep a lookout for what we're doing. Just, just
Tell them your
promoting
website
it.
again. Tell them your
Yes.
website.
So my website is florenza.org, and you spell that F as in Frank, LORENZA.org, O-R-G. And you can go there, and it's under my tab, Kuda Fakari Bookstore. Kuda Fakari is Swahili for ponder, and it goes with my Words to Ponder publishing. And so, yeah, just go there. You can Google Florenza Lee, author, and it should take you to all of my
All of your
social media sites.
beautiful
Yes.
books. And you're a professional storyteller too, aren't you?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Tell them really quick before we let you go your background though, because it's so fascinating.
So what with writing?
Writing. I think your whole background is fascinating, right? Not
Yeah.
even
Well, my husband's military, and he served 31 years. And so we had a chance to travel all over the world. And I believe that's where that military spark came. But as far as writing, one day I woke up January 31st, 2014, and I wrote 12 books in about an hour and a half and started my own company, Boys and Girls. As a matter of fact, this was the second book that I wrote, and it took a little while to get it published. The author took, oh my goodness, she took about 5 years to finally get the art to me. So that was an exercise of patience. And since then, in total, I've written 82 books. The goal is to release. My goal is 6 a year, just because of the time that it takes for illustrations and the money that it takes for illustrations. Oh my goodness. And so, yeah. Hmm.
Okay, well, everybody, this is Florenza Lee. She is a very captivating storyteller and book writer. We are so thankful to have you on our platform today. Hey, you got technology allows you to pull over wherever you are, right? And it looks beautiful. I love your costume.
Thank you.
Fancy car you in. I can tell it's fancy because it's two-tone. It works out very well.
Yeah, well, if it weren't so cool, we were going to put the top down, but with us being with the planes, it was too loud.
Right.
So, but
Well,
yeah, so enjoy your day.
You will, and you too, and stay safe. And we'll be in touch soon to add a couple of your titles to Detroit Book City's bookstore.
Looking forward to it, and looking forward to just seeing you and hugging you again. I miss hugs.
For the audience that don't know, Florenza, she usually comes into town and she
Yes.
sets up at our physical book fairs. But you know,
Yes.
because of COVID-19, we can't do that. So God will make a way, won't he? We will
Yes, he will.
We'll do it every quarter. We will make sure that we connect these readers to our authors. Okay?
Yes,
All
yes,
right. Well, you take care, stay safe, and have a happy harvest time, Halloween, and
yes.
be blessed.
Bye, guys. Happy reading.
All right. Wasn't that wonderful? I tell you, I cannot think of a book that talks about kids and what they go through when their parents have to leave them for the military. So that book is so timely. You know, it's just really timely. And not only that, you have to check out her website because she has some fascinating books with great storylines and the illustration is on point. And just fantastic, these book authors. This is what we share this platform. We have to, so that people can know where to get great books for kids with images of African Americans and the light, enlightenment, you know, books about self-esteem and feeling good about yourself and just all kind of circumstances that we frequent on a daily basis. All right, let's keep the spookiness going. I know we're running a little bit behind, but we have time. It's our time, right? We paid for this on Zoom. So who is our next author? Will it be Daneace Jeffery? I think it will. So ladies and gentlemen, without further ado, let's bring on Daneace Jeffery.
Hi.
Hi,
Hello there.
Daneace.
How are you?
Welcome to the spooky platform.
Thank you. I love it. I love it.
I did not plan that, okay? I guess it's God working this sound system so everything coordinates. Isn't that wonderful?
The perfect intro.
Oh, the perfect intro. Well, welcome to Detroit Book City's second annual Family Book Fair 2020, Day 2. We are enjoying so far lots of storytelling.
I am too.
I kicked it off with my own book, and I had no plans on that either. I was just going to discuss maybe some ideas about what you can do today, and maybe some places that are giving away candy. But, you know, the spirit put on my heart, why don't you grab one of those books in the container? You got about 10 titles that represent Halloween, and put it out there. So we grabbed the one with the sound.
Oh, I love it.
Sure. Well, tell us about Daneace. First of all, your appearance is so beautiful.
Thank you.
I love your costume of beauty. That's what it is.
Yes, that's what it is. It's my regal beautiness.
It's your regal beauty. Well, tell us about Daneace Jeffery and then share with us your book.
So I'm originally from Detroit. I went to Cody High School and graduated from University of Detroit. I have two sons. Both of them were born there in Detroit. As a matter of fact, my whole family is still there in Detroit. So if my family's on, hi everybody. But I currently live in Baltimore, right outside Baltimore, and I'm a high school teacher.
Oh, wonderful. Okay.
Yes. And
I
my
didn't know that part. I didn't know you was a high school teacher.
yes, I'm a high school special ed teacher. I co-teach 11th and 12th grade English.
Okay.
And my degree from University of Detroit was in English literature. I worked for the government. I worked for Chrysler a little while before I left Detroit. Once here, arriving here in the DC metro area, I did work for the government for about 15 years and just sort of switched over to education. So it was one of the best moves I think I could have ever made.
Yeah, your personality fits. Yeah, you
I love high school.
energy, good nature, higher consciousness, higher
Yes.
personality. So that's.
I love it. Every day is a new day, a new experience. So it's a lot of fun.
But let me ask you this: are the kids in school? Where are you at right now? What city?
I'm in Pikesville, Maryland. So I teach in a county. We're all virtual at the moment.
Okay.
So I end up teaching from my bedroom or outside, or now that it's gotten a little chillier, I'm inside now.
Gotcha.
And we're going to be virtual until possibly February.
Oh, I know. Yeah,
So,
I don't know about Maryland, but it's kind of resurging out here. Is it doing the same thing out here?
Here too, it's slowly going up. So my fingers are crossed that we can get back
Oh,
by February. I think we want to be back. The
so
students
bad.
back.
All of
We
us.
miss them. Yeah. So we're hoping everybody wear a mask.
Mask. Mask up.
Stay home. Right.
Read some books.
Yeah, read a book.
Well, tell us about your fascinating book you're going to introduce.
So, let me give you a little bit of background, a little bit of my family background, which prompted me to write the book. So I have two sons, and both sons marry outside of our race, of the Black race.
Okay.
So my oldest son married a wonderful white young lady, love her to death, and they have two children. And my youngest son married Filipino, and they have three children.
Interesting.
And they're Muslim. So we've got a whole lot going on here.
One race, right? One race.
All one race, all one race, all one family. So when we knew we were going to, I say we because I feel like these are my kids too. But when we figured out that we were going to have a daughter, I quickly ran to the bookstore to try to find any books I could, children's books featuring a biracial character.
Okay.
And I looked. And I looked, and I looked. And I didn't want just the books that are out there is, hey, look at me, I'm biracial. I didn't want that type of book. I just wanted an everyday book where the character featured just happened to be biracial. Okay. So I decided to write my own.
There's a saying about that. If you don't see the book you like, write
yourself. Yes.
Whose quote was that?
I don't know who said that.
By the end of this, I
will know who said that. So, that was the mother of invention. And so I came up with my own character. And the book is the series of books, there are three. They're loosely based on my grandchildren and on my oldest, which I actually named the character after my mother, Ella. So if you don't mind, I'm going to share my screen.
Yes, absolutely.
And that way we can see what all of the books look like.
Okay, absolutely.
All right, come on, computer. Okay, here we go. I'm
There's
sorry.
a disclaimer we have. Be patient while we figure it out. By February, we'll be professionals at Zoom.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, we'll have it together by then. Okay, here we come. There we are.
Wonderful.
Move me up here a little bit so I'm not sort of washing myself out. So I did write 3 books.
Okay.
It looks like I'm washed out here on the screen. But the first book is Ella and Her Bubbles, and it just features Ella, who wants to learn how to blow bubbles. And that's all. And so she goes to all of her family members, and you're in this book, you're introduced to all of the family members.
Gotcha. Well, bubbles is very important at that age.
I know, it is very important. And these are almost, this is real life and, and storytelling together.
Right.
The second book is Grandma's Too. And we have a very unique family because my daughter-in-law is from West Virginia. And so They're from Mount Storm, West Virginia. So it's a mountainous region there. And I'm from Detroit. So we're very two different families, two different cultures, but we come together for our granddaughters, that's for sure. So the second book is about what Ella does when she visits both grandmothers.
Okay.
And the third book, Another Me, is there is a new baby sister being born. And so we talk about what that's going to look like, having a new baby sister.
Gotcha.
Okay. So I'll go ahead and I think we have time. I can read.
Oh, we have plenty of time.
Great. I'm going to read Ella and Her Bubbles.
All right. Great.
My name is Ella and I am 3 years old. I like playing with balls and dolls and all of my toys in our big backyard. I have lots of fun playing in the sandbox, building sandcastles. But what I like most of all is blowing bubbles on a summer day. I like watching the bubbles float in the sky. Trying to catch bubbles with my hands and on my nose makes me giggle. Bubbles are so pretty in the sun. I like to see all the rainbow colors on the bubbles glistening in the sunlight. When the wind blows, bubbles fly even higher in the sky. My mommy and daddy take turns blowing bubbles for me. But I want to blow bubbles all by myself. One day, mommy tried to teach me how to blow my own bubbles. But no matter how hard I tried, I couldn't do it. I blew and blew and blew and blew, but no bubbles. Daddy said I had to blow on the wand very softly. So I tried to blow softly, but still no bubbles. Instead of blowing a bubble, I blew all the soap off the wand. It dripped all over my hands and dress. Mommy says I can't blow the bubbles because I have too much soap on the wand. She tries to help me, but I want to do it myself. So I try again and again and again, but still no bubbles. When I went to visit Grandma Nani, she tried to teach me how to slowly pull the wand out of the bottle. I tried to do exactly as she said, but more soap ended up on the sides of the bottle instead of on the wand. The outside of the bottle became wet with soap and slipped right out of my hand and splashed all over the steps. I started to cry because now I had no more bubbles to blow. At Grandma Tammy's house, she told me to try to hold the wand away from my mouth and blow gently. I tried really hard again, but no bubbles with Grandma Tammy, no bubbles with Daddy, no bubbles with Mommy, and no bubbles with Grandma Nani. I still don't know how to blow bubbles. When Granddad came home from work, he saw that I was very sad. I had tried all day to learn how to blow bubbles, but I just couldn't do it. I tried to remember everything Mommy and Daddy told me. I tried to remember what Grandma Nani and Grandma Tammy told me. Then Granddad said he had an idea. Granddad picked a white dandelion flower from the backyard and gently blew on it. The white petals began to float in the wind just like bubbles. Granddad then taught me how to hold the wand just like the dandelion flower. Granddad told me to try one more time. And this time I remember everything my family taught me. I held the wand just right. I blew on the wand just right. And then it happened. I blew a bubble, and then another, and another, and another. Yippee! I was blowing bubbles all by myself, thanks to my family. Now I can blow my own bubbles wherever I go. And that's it. That's the book.
Wonderful.
Thank you.
Wow. You know, it says, and I was saying, it takes a family. So
Yes,
the whole
yes, it
family
does.
took time with her because it was so important for her to blow a bubble that the whole family participated. Imagine a
Yes.
child who wanted to read, but she couldn't read, and the whole family chipped in from every angle. That grandmother, that grandfather,
Yes.
everybody chipped in. What's the result? Right, a great reader. So I like the theme. I like the
Thank you.
idea of the ideology of the book. I like that. Wonderful.
Thank you. And you know, and I must say just a little bit about the whole theme of the series. And I wanted to give you a couple of statistics,
Okay.
just so that people know a little bit more about why it's so important for biracial children or children of color to be represented in books, on TV, on shows. It's very important that we see, or that they see, people who look like them. In 2000, according to the U.S. Census, in 2013, 9 million Americans chose more than one race on the census, on their census form.
Wow.
And in 2000, that was the first time that the US Census allowed people to actually select more than one race, so that you could select, you know, white and black, or Asian and black, or any race, any combination of race. The other thing too, between 2000 and 2010, the number, the percentage of white and black biracial children more than doubled.
Wow.
So,
Can you bring yourself back to the screen real quick? Can you tell us the facts? We want to see you now.
yep. Okay. Let's see here. Let me get out of this altogether.
Because we're going to share how to get your book, so don't worry about that.
Okay. Let me not share. Stop share. There we go. Okay. All right.
I'll say that first time again. I've never looked at, you know, how a person who's black and white, what people say on the Census Bureau. You know, how people would check off what nationality they
Well,
are.
the problem was you had to pick one.
Wow.
So you had to literally.
It's never accurate. Like they say, it's never really accurate.
Yeah, you had to split your family. Who do you identify with? Do you alienate your white parent and select black? Do you alienate your black parent and select white? And so just think about, before 2000, the dilemma that many biracial people had on the census, or on job applications.
That's why it shouldn't be important. That's why it shouldn't be important.
Yeah, so it has started that movement of, you can't put people in a box anymore. You know,
Right.
we have become a nation and a world that's so diverse. We all don't fit into one small category.
We don't, because we all have something in us. Oh, we're all mixed.
Yes.
If that's the case.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, like I said, part of the series was just to be able to give my granddaughters that sense of, it's okay, or my grandchildren, it's okay, you know, to be a member of 2 or more races.
Tell me the ages of your grandkids. What's the ages?
Well, now they are 13, 10, 8, 7, and 5.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm like trying to count.
Kind of spread up there, huh?
Yeah, they're 2 families, you know.
Do they ever experience like bullying because of their biracial status, or have anybody ever came to you and said, "Grandma, you know, I have people that talk this way and talk that way, they call me this or that"? And if they do, what kind of advice do you give to
Yeah.
everyone?
Not so much. The 2 oldest are in a very diverse you know, background. I mean, we live here in Maryland, so where they live, which is a little bit further from Baltimore, it's a little bit more of a diverse neighborhood.
Wonderful.
So, and they have friends of all races.
Uh-huh.
So I think it's more, which is a good thing, I don't even like saying they don't see color, because we all see color.
Uh-huh.
But I think we are teaching our kids to value one's character and not necessarily their skin color.
Absolutely.
And then so it has to start there.
By the content of their character, right?
Yes, absolutely. And so I don't really think they really haven't experienced it like, say, students or children would maybe 10 or 15 years ago.
Right.
However, you still have to notice that in the media, in the public realm, we still have issues. Remember when the Cheerios commercial came out with the biracial family, and people sort of just lost their mind because they were actually featuring a biracial family on TV with Cheerios.
I don't know what the big deal is.
Yeah, absolutely.
Wow. So tell us about your other two books now. So we go into a little detail about what to expect if parents want to buy your other two books.
So Grandma's Two, this one is all about what what Ella, same character, does when she visits the one grandmother who lives in West Virginia, and what she does when she visits me in Baltimore. And there are also some little hidden gems in all of my books that sort of pay homage to my family and the surroundings and our extended family, such as the other grandparents own a hunting store or a sports store, and they like to hunt deer.
Sports hunting. Okay.
Yeah, sports hunting.
Deer. Oh.
Yeah. So in this book, there is a picture of what it's like when Ella visits there, and the grandmother owns her own business. So
Entrepreneurship.
yeah, absolutely. And in the third book, we're getting a little sister.
Okay. That's gonna be an adjustment.
It was an adjustment. And so Ella, once again, goes through all the emotions of getting, this little sister. But when you tell young kids they're getting a sibling, they think they're getting a playmate.
At first.
They're not.
I know.
And so she finds out, pretty quickly after the baby is born, wait a minute, this isn't what I signed up for.
Right.
I signed up for a playmate, not this little thing.
So what I like most about your books are, first of all, they're biracial. That's wonderful, because if any of our listeners are in a family that have biracial kids, this will help them know that they are special no matter what their makeup is. Number one. Number two, I like how you have her in different situations. She's so determined. That's a determined child. Okay.
Yeah, she is.
I like that. She never stopped until she was able to blow those bubbles. I think that speaks a lot. It speaks volume.
Right.
The next book I like. What's that next book about? Hold on, my brain is.
Grandma's Two. Going to visit her both of her grandmothers.
Her grandmothers.
In here we talk about she comes from strong grandmothers. The other grandmother is a business owner.
Right. You're strong. Yeah.
Yeah. So pull from any side you want, you're still going to get the same lessons about determination and strength and strength of character and hard work and respect. It doesn't matter which grandmother you go to. One may hunt deer, the other, may do something different, but the message is still the same from both.
How old is Ella today? How old is Ella?
13.
Oh, she's 13 now.
Yes. Ella is 13.
How does she feel about her grandmother wrote a book about her?
She loves it. She absolutely loves it. She thinks, everything is all about her. She's the oldest grandchild, so.
Well, that is so wonderful. I love your books.
Thank you.
Tell the audience when you published it, how much they cost, and where they can buy them.
So I published them, the first two in 2014 and the last one in 2017. They can get them from my website, ellabooks.weebly.com, or from Amazon, Barnes & Noble. You can order them from anywhere that sells books they can be ordered from.
And if you head over to our Facebook page or our website, you can also tap into our 2020 souvenir guide and
Yes.
click to the page where Daneace is and click on it, and it'll take you directly to her website.
Yes.
Well,
Thank you.
wonderful. Thank you so much for
Thank you.
partaking in our Halloween platform and sharing your books with us. I think that your books are going to go very, very far. I see that they've been on the market for a little bit, and you're still marketing. And I think that's the key. We learned that yesterday from Dr. Knowles, right?
Yes.
Keep the marketing going, and you'll
Yeah.
be all right. As long as the earth turning, keep turning with it. Keep moving
Yes.
and shaking.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, is there any questions from the audience? If anybody want to ask, oh, we got a question in the chat. Let's see. Oh, somebody said, yes, love the books. All right. Love the books. That was from Deborah Rebel. All right.
That's my
Is
sister.
there anything else you want to share with us before we allow you to go have some good harvest time fun?
I know. I have in
What's the future hold? Tell us what the future holds.
Yeah, the future. I have 2 more books in the Ella series that I would like to publish in the near future.
Okay.
One of them, which is both of them I think are very important, but the 4th book will be about the new baby who she needs a book all of her own. Trust me, I've heard this for years now. Well, when is it going to be about me? But she has such a vivid imagination. So
Okay.
I want to use that in the 4th book. The 5th book, and I think I had told you earlier, my youngest son is Muslim.
Okay.
And so the 5th book is going to be how you combine in the same family, a Muslim family and a Christian family. How do those children now explain and interact with each other? So that
And
one,
respect each other's beliefs, right?
and respect each other's beliefs. So each book has a different, a different message to it, but still, once again, it's all one family.
Gotcha. Look like we have a comment on the chat that says, great books from Janie Owens.
Okay.
Wonderful Christmas gifts.
Yes,
Awesome.
absolutely. And I do autograph.
Autograph. All right, guys. So you are meeting Daneace Jeffery. She's the owner of Ella, the Ella series, I call it. Because
Yes.
Ella has a lot going on. And like I said, I like how you bring those scenarios to the book, and it's a series book. So you see her growing and going through different stages of life, things that come into her world. So I commend you on your books, and thanks for being a part of our platform.
So much.
Okay, so without further ado, we're going to let you go so you can have a great Halloween.
Thank you.
Have a good one. God bless and stay safe.
You too.
All right. Okay, guys, I hope you're enjoying. Woo, there it is. I can't even see it. We only get to celebrate Halloween once a year. Am I a big Halloween fan? No, not really. But it's just fun. It's a fun day for kids and for parents. My daughters are older now. I have one that's 17, a senior in high school, and then I have another daughter that's 34. So I don't get to have the fun time anymore. I have a grandson, though. He's 13. So everybody's kind of exceeded the age of where you can really have a lot of little fun things going on. So thank God for Detroit Book City Bookstore. We can present these fun things on this platform, right? Hey, we're going to take a 5-minute break, okay? I'm going to go restroom, drink some water, and when we come back, we are going to draw the names of all the kids who were nominated to win this book called The Undefeated, okay? Which is a great book that reflects on African Americans, our ancestors, who has done many tremendous things in society and life in America to make us who we are today. Excellent book is written by Kwame Alexander and Kadir Nelson. And it's going to be a gift. These books were donated to Detroit Book City by, I think it's called Black Summer for Youth, or Black Lives Summer. See, it's spooky. I can't even get it right. They were donated this summer, and we gave away 75 books to a school here in Detroit last month. And then we kept 25 of them to give away for Halloween. Now, usually around this time of year, we have an event called the Spooktacular Book Drive. And we have kids to come to the store dressed in costumes. And we would give them a book and a goodie bag. But because of the pandemic, of course, we are not able to do that this year. So sit tight, don't go far away. We'll be back in about 5 minutes to give away the books to the kids who were nominated. Yeah, we'll be right back.
I have a quick favor to ask. Please vote as early as possible this year. I'm counting on you to confirm your polling place, where you vote, and how you get there. All you have to do is make a plan. Go to iwillvote.com. Make your plans and make it. Thank you.
What's up? I'm Emma Lovewell. I'm an Under Armour athlete, and I'm here to talk about some of my favorite Under Armour gear. Got some sports bras and what.
All right, we are back. If you are just signing on to Zoom, we are hosting this second annual Fall Family Book Fair in recognition of harvest time and to also connect readers to books. All right, let's see. I am going to grab the names of our winners. And let me just pull up the screen right quick so I can give you some details on how these students were nominated, who nominated them, and why they were nominated. Okay, we are giving away the undefeated, okay, to deserving fourth and fifth graders. Okay, so just so you know, and at 2:20, if you guys are still around, please hang in there. We have a professional storyteller who is going to read the book. His name is Larry Castleberry. So he'll be coming on at 2:20 to read the book to the audience. All right, so let's find out who our winners are. All right. Let's see. Bear with me right quick. How are you guys enjoying the storytelling so far? Is everybody enjoying the festivities here? You can always put your comments in the chat to let us know how we're doing. We hope that you have enjoyed what we've presented. Okay. looks like our first winner of the Undefeated is going to be Lauren Childs. She is a 4th grader and she resides in Southfield, Michigan. And this is why she was nominated. Lauren is an enthusiastic reader. She constantly explores the world around her, discovering everything. Oh, you kind of got cut off. I don't have the rest of that, but that's okay. So Lauren Childs, you are the winner of this fabulous book. We'll be in touch on how to get it to you. Thank you, Keisha Watkins Ducky, for nominating Lauren Childs. All right. Let's see who our next winner is. Okay, our next winner is a 3rd grader from Detroit, and his name, is Tykeal Bradford. Yay! Tykeal loves to read. His face lit up last year when we were at Detroit Book City's book fair. Ooh, good to know. There were so many books he wanted to read and add to his Christmas list. He couldn't wait to buy his own with his own money. Oh my gosh, I remember you. I remember you, Tykeal. I want to continue to nurture my nephew's love for reading. I get him books whenever I get a chance, and these will be great reads for him to win and add to his collection. Well, thank you, Angelina Taylor, for referring your nephew, Tykeal Bradford from Detroit, our 2nd winner of the Undefeated. Okay, let's see who's the 3rd winner. Okay, our 3rd winner is a 4th grade female from Taylor, Michigan. Her name is Akira. You know, these kids' names are pronounced so differently today, but I'm going to pronounce it again. Akira Gambrell, okay? Akira is an amazing, smart, intelligent young lady. She is a leader in her classroom and everywhere she goes. She is very responsible and loves to help others in need. Her grades are all A's and B's, and she is wise behind her years. Well, thanks, Asia Violet, for referring. I hope this is your daughter, Akira Gambrell. Congratulations. Okay, who's next? I can't help but get into the music, guys. Just bear with me. Oh, this is a kitty day. Let's see who we have next. Okay, it looks like it's going to be Maddox Nalums. He's a 4th grader from Detroit. Woohoo! You are the winner of the Undefeated. Maddox is an awesome reader and is working hard to become even better. This year, he has challenged himself to improve his spelling and writing skills. Maddox is a big fan of Kwame Alexander. His favorite title is Booked. All right, so thanks. No, thank you. Thank you, Courtney, for recommending your son for this book. We know who you are, the Nellums. They are book writers. So thank you so much for staying in touch with the Detroit Book City and recommending your son for the Undefeated. And I think we have one more winner. Our final winner for today is a 3rd grader from Detroit, and his name is Dylan Key. Woohoo! Congratulations, Dylan. You are the winner of the Undefeated. Yay, yay, yay. Dylan is an avid reader that enjoys losing himself in books. Woo, that's so wonderful. Since virtual school has begun, he has started to get away from reading actual books. We want to encourage Dylan to continue to read, as it will help promote creativity and imagination. That's awesome. Thank you, Nicole, for nominating Dylan as a winner for the undefeated. Wow. All right, so we will make sure that all of these smart young individuals continue to read and get this book as a part of their library, their home library. All right, so it looks like we're gonna keep it moving, right? I think we have a little bit time for me to read again. You know, I read a book earlier today, and it was called Spooky Sounds Halloween Pumpkin Fun. So now you get to get a reading from me. How about that? Let's set them over here. All right, let me put on my reading glasses. I hope they don't break because they've been through a lot. Maybe I'll have one arm for Halloween on my glasses here because it's getting pretty tight on the left-hand side. Okay, let's read Spooky Sounds, Halloween Fun, Pumpkin Fun. Okay. Listen to the eerie sound. Ooh. It's Halloween in Pumpkin Town. Who lives where? Peek inside if you dare. I wonder who lives here, don't you? Is that broomstick by the door a clue? Come in, you. Ooh. A witch lives here. Can't you tell? She's cooking something. What a smell. I'm just brewing a spell. Can you count 7 frogs? Let's see. 1, 2, 3. Let's see. 4, 5, 6, 7. But you know what? I think there was more frogs because I can see their feet and their hands in the pot. Look very closely. Ooh, very creepy. This pumpkin house is quite a sight. Does it give you a big fright? Step inside for a bite. Count 8 bats flying around. Let's count the 8 bats. We got 1, we have 2, we have 3, and 4, and 5, and 6, and 7, and 8. Ooh. Who lives here in such style? A vampire family. See them smile? Won't you stay for a while? I spy 7 ghosts. Do you? A 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh gosh, where's the other one? 7. Ew. Now come to the town square. You'll find the biggest pumpkin there. Ooh. all of Pumpkin Town meets to have fun. Happy Halloween, everyone. All right, the end. This is one of the unique books that we sell at Detroit Book City. We've just started selling this year. Of course, we had about 7 or 8 titles that we've added to our collection. But what makes this book so unique is the size of it. You can tell, look at my head size, okay? So it's a nice size book, has great illustrations, colors, the shape, and if you open it up, let's just flip it right quick so I can show you what's really unique about this. Open it up. There's Velcro that sticks it on this side, and it becomes like a pumpkin on the table. So after you read it, you can kind of set it out on the table, you know, as a pumpkin, as a decor, as you can see. All right, so thanks for listening to my story. Of course, the owner of Books, Detroit Book City, co-owner, needs to read storybooks too, right? So I hope you guys enjoyed this, and hopefully we'll have this again next year, okay? All right, awesome. Okay, let's move along. I think we're up to our last act for today. We're going to bring on Larry Castleberry. He is a professional storyteller, and he is going to read The Undefeated. Okay. So if you guys been tuning in, this is the book that he's going to read. And now we're going to bring on Larry. All right. Oh, let's bring him in. Okay, we're waiting for Larry to connect. Okay, there he is. Hi, Larry Castleberry.
Well, hello, how are you?
I'm fine. How about you today on Halloween?
Fantastic.
Wonderful. So what are you going to do for us today?
Well, I'm going to read for you guys, and then I'm going to tell you a story.
All
I've been
right.
hearing you talk about The Undefeated, and I understand we have some very lucky winners. So I'm going to read to you this beautiful book.
Wonderful.
So is everybody ready?
Yes, we are.
All right. The Undefeated by Kwame Alexander and Kadir Nelson. The Undefeated. This is for the unforgettable, the swift and sweet ones who hurdle history and open a world of possible. The ones who survived America by any means necessary. And the ones who didn't. This is for the undeniable, the ones who scored with chains on one hand and faith in the other. This is for the unflappable, the sophisticated ones who boxed adversity and tackled vision. Who shine their light for the world to see and don't stop till the break of dawn. This is for the unafraid, the audacious ones who carry the red, white, and weary blues on the battlefield to save an imperfect union. The righteous marching ones who sang, "We shall not be moved," because Black lives matter. This is for the unspeakable. This is for the unspeakable. This is for the unlimited, unstoppable ones, the dreamers and doers who swim across the big sea of our imagination and show us the majestic shores of the promised land. The William Rudolphs, the Muhammad Alis, the Althea Gibsons, the Jesse Owens, the Jordans and the LeBrons, the Serena and the Sherrills, the Reese Whitleys and the undiscovered. This is for the unbelievable, the we real cool ones. This is for the unbending, the black as the night is beautiful ones. This is for the underdogs and the uncertain, the unspoken, but no longer untitled. This is for the undefeated. This is for you and you and you. This is for us. Now, when I first read that book, I said, wow, because I was very touched by not only the words in that book, but the message in that book. To let you know that even though life comes at you and knocks you down, we have it in all of us to be undefeated. Now, I want to share with you another book, and this one I won't read, but is a story that comes from Patrick McKissick's The Deadly or the Dark 30.
All right.
And the name of this story is called The Woman in the Snow. Now, in 1955 and 1956, there was the Montgomery boycott, or excuse me, I can't say it, Montgomery bus boycott. And that led to a lot of changes here in the country, to some very brave men and women, through individuals working together to overcome an injustice. But there are a lot of communities that have their bus story. And today, we're going to talk about one. Up in the mountains of the Smokies, one morning, a gentleman clocks in to work. Oh, Gilbert Bishop. Now, Gilbert, he's a portly man. And he is the 11th son of the town drunk. He doesn't have much in the way of education, but he likes his job. You see, when he puts on that gray uniform, he has power. He has control, and that is what he wants. But this particular day, November 1st, believe it or not, Mr. Bishop goes into work, he punches the clock, and he's told that he has the hall route. Oh, Mr. Bishop grumbles under his breath. His nickname for it is the Blackbird Express. And he doesn't care who knows it. His boss looks at him and says, why don't you try the Hall Express? Well, Bishop says, you know I hate that route. And you know why? All those black people go out from the east side to the west side to work as a domestic. Then they leave those rich homes and come back to the east side. And I don't like being a chauffeur for those type of people. The boss looked at him and said, you can take it or you can leave it. You know, Bishop wanted the job and he wanted the money because times were hard. So begrudgingly, he took the route. But as he's about to go out to the bus, his boss yells at him. He says, listen, we're supposed to get snow tonight. So if it gets too bad, shut the route down. You know, Bishop goes out there, and as he's driving, yes, it starts to snow. Now that hall route went up and down the mountain. It twisted one way and twisted the other. So it was bad driving even in good weather. But in the snow, ooh, it was much worse. And as Bishop went to the west side of town and he picked up the passengers, he would say, all right, people, you know the drill. Pay your money and get to the back of the bus. Come on, let's go, let's go, let's go. The snow is coming. And he would drive, and as he got to the east side, people would start to get off the bus. And finally, the last passenger walked off. And he said, Auntie, what's taking you so long to get off the bus? As the elderly lady got off the bus, she said, loud enough that he can hear. Did you just call me Auntie? Huh. I never knew that my brother had a white child. Oh, Bishop was mad about that. His face turned red. Don't you get uppity with me. Can't be nice to some people, he thought to himself as he closed the door, turned the bus around, getting ready to head back into the station. But as he's doing so, he sees coming out of the snow and the blowing wind a lady, and she's holding something. Now, as he drives and he gets closer, he can tell that she's very young, maybe 20, and she is not dressed for the weather. She has on this real light fabric, but she has like a sweater over her, and she's cold. And as she gets closer, she realizes that that bundle she's carrying is a little baby. He opens up the door and says, "What are you doing out there in weather like this and not dressed appropriately?" She gets on the bus. She says, "Please, please, my baby's sick. My husband had to go into Memphis to go to work. I've got to get my baby to the hospital." Bus driver said, "Well, come on in. You don't need to be out there in weather like this." He says, "I'm shutting the route down, but I got to go by the hospital anyway, so I can just drop you off. Go ahead and pay your fare and get to the back." The young lady stays there. She looks at him. She says, "Well, I don't have any money, but I promise you that I can give you the money tomorrow morning if you can just take me to the hospital now." Well, Bishop looks at her and he says, "You know the rules. No money, no ride. Get off my bus. And besides, that baby of yours probably is okay anyway. You probably are over-exaggerating. Baby gonna be fine. Get on off the bus." That young lady with her baby goes back out there in that cold, snowy weather. Bishop drives the bus away and he goes on home. The next morning, he's drinking his coffee and eating his breakfast, and he happens to look through the paper and he finds a little blurb there that talks about a young girl, a young lady, Eula Mae Daniels, found frozen to death with her baby. Bishop thinks to himself, I told her she shouldn't stay out there in the weather like that. The following year, Bishop is working and he again gets the Hall route. And as he's driving, he lets off his last passenger. The snow is coming again, just like it did the year before. And as he's turning his bus around, ready to head back into the station, he sees a young lady carrying something in the snow. And he looks, and he looks, and he says, if I didn't know better, I'd say that's the same woman from last year. That looks like Eula Mae. And as he drives the bus, the young lady comes close to him. And he can hear his father's voice in the background saying, that ain't no Eula Mae. You know all them people look alike. And Bishop thinks to himself, be quiet, voice. That is the same woman as last year. And as she gets to the door, she looks at him from outside the door. His eyes get big. He starts to tremble. He slams on the gas, takes the bus out into the middle of traffic, realizes that he's about to hit something, slams on the brake, loses control of the bus, and runs into a tree. And he's all damaged on the inside. And as he's breathing his last breath, he hears what he thinks is the sob of a woman. But as he's laying there breathing his last, he wonders to himself, is that a sob? Or is that the wind? Fast forward 25 years later. Ray Hammond, war hero, 2 years of college under his belt, and the first Black bus driver at Metro. He is told that he's going to have the Hall route, but not only once in a while. That is going to become his permanent route. And Brett kept talking to his wife, and he says, you know, no other bus driver has ever had the Hall route as their permanent destination, but they give it to me. His wife looks at him and smiles as she straightens his bow tie. She's so proud of him. She says, baby, you go out there and you do your best. Because what you're doing is you're going to make it easier for those who come behind you. He says, yeah, I guess you're right. He goes into work. It's November 1st. He's told he has to haul roots, so his co-workers start laughing at him because the legend of Eula May is quite renowned. And some of his co-workers laugh and they say, ooh, you be careful with the spirit of Eula May out there. Now, Ray was an old Korean War vet, so he looked at him. He says, I didn't think you people believed in haunts. You know, that got a smile and a chuckle from his co-workers. But he went out there and he did his job. And after he let out his last passenger, snow was coming, the wind was blowing. And suddenly, the hairs on the back of his neck started to go up. And as he looked out the window, he saw what looked like a woman running there in the snow, carrying something in her hand. Oh. Now, he knew very well this story, and he knew that you're not supposed to talk to ghosts. And oh, even though he was a big, strong, brave man, he was scared. And as she comes up to the door, shivering, with her eyes looking at him, suddenly he thought to himself, this is one of mine who is in need of help. And ghost or no ghost, nobody deserves to be out in weather like this. So he opens the door and he says, come on in. Well, Eula May just stands there. She has a real suspicious look on her face, even though she's a ghost. And he realizes at once what it is. He says, well, there's been some changes since you were last around. You see, they've integrated the buses now. And yes, I am a driver. So come on into the bus. Very hesitantly, she comes on the bus. And as she gets there, she tells him her story. But as she's telling him her story, her head is down. He looks at her and he says, head up. You have nothing to be ashamed about. She raises her head and she says, my baby is sick. My husband went into town to Memphis to go to work. And I've got to get my baby to the hospital. She has a fever. He looks at her and he says, okay. Then she looks at him, she says, but I don't have any money. He says, well, the rules are no pay, no ride. But they don't say anything in the rule books about a loan. So he reaches in his pocket, pulls out some change, and puts it into the box. He then closes the door, and as he starts to drive, Eula May starts to make her way to the back of the bus. Now, when he looks in the mirror, he can't see her. But when he turns around, well, there she is. And he says, excuse me. No, you don't have to ride in the back of the bus anymore. You can sit up front right here behind me. Well, Eula doesn't come all the way up to the seat right behind him, but she does come closer to the front of the bus. And as he's driving, the hairs are still on the back of his neck. He looks in the mirror, he can't see anything. But every time he turns his head around, there she is, live as day. And even though she's a ghost, he decided, I'm gonna have a conversation. And he starts to tell her, you know, there's been a lot of changes since you've been around, young lady. Yes, indeed. You know, I owe my job to two ladies there in Montgomery. There was Rosa Parks, but before her, there was Claudette Colvin. And these women refused to give up their seat on the bus. Well, after Rosa Parks, there was a boycott. And led by a man by the name of Martin Luther King, Dr. King. And I expect to hear some great things about him. Oh, and would you believe this? There's even an Irish Catholic running for president of the United States. Oh, there has been some changes. Oh, and did you know back in 1954, the Supreme Court said that segregation was illegal? Yeah, slowly but surely, people out there fighting for us, but changes are coming. And as he's driving, he turns around and looks, and her eyes, beautiful brown eyes, start to soften. And she listens to him tell these different tales, and she starts to smile. And finally, he gets to the hospital and he opens up the door. And she stands up, and as she's walking by him, she says, "You're a good man." She exits the bus, but as she turns around, he says, "Excuse me, that loan, it's not a loan, it's a gift. And you are free." And as the wind is blowing and the snow is drifting back and forth, Eula May gives him the biggest smile, and she fades before his eyes. And from that time forward, Eula May is never heard again. And so ended the story of the Snow Lady.
Hey.
Now that is just one of the few of the marvelous stories that you can find here in this book. Again, Southern Tales of the Supernatural, The Dark 30 by Patricia McKissick. But one of the things that I love to do as a storyteller is I love to hear stories as well as tell stories. Because in stories, you learn history, you learn things that inspire you, and you learn things that encourage you. And it's nice to not only get that for yourself, but to turn around and share. So I hope you enjoyed my stories today. And I'm going to turn it back over to you, our host, if you have any questions or anything that you would like to ask or say.
Oh no, great story, actually. Good job. Well done. Well done. I see the gift that you have, and I'm so honored to have you on our platform at the Detroit Book City Second Annual Fall Family Book Fair 2020. That was marvelous. I don't have anything to say. It was well done. Well done.
Thank you for having me. I'm proud to be a part of this.
And I hope your niece and your nephew enjoyed the Undefeated.
I'm sure they will. It is on its way to Arizona right now. So.
Okay, wonderful. Well, Larry, thank you so much for your participation. And I hope you have a great weekend. Enjoy harvest time and stay safe.
You do the same.
All right, have a good one. So, ladies and gentlemen, that concludes Detroit Book City's second annual Fall Family Book Fair Storytelling Day. We hope you enjoyed the authors, meeting them, learning about their books. If you need to get a hold of their information, you can find it in our complimentary 2020 souvenir guide. It's right there on our timeline on Facebook. Matter of fact, you can visit our website and kind of flip through the entire book. That book will be available through the entire month of November. Okay, so please support our book authors. And let's see, we got some comments before we get off. Let's see. Glenn Anderson said, "Thank you so much." Jill Bickford said, "This was fabulous. Thank you." Hey, we're so honored to be able to do this for you guys, okay? So pay attention to Detroit Book City. We are here. We'll come back every quarter to host these book fairs virtually since we can't do them in person. But one more message. Tomorrow, we have a nice lineup. Tomorrow's our final day, okay? I hope my glasses don't break. He's been through a whole lot. So tomorrow, we have a lineup of spiritual and soul and self-help and education writing that's going to join us. I think we have 9 authors. We have Tanya King. She writes self-help. We have Zanelle Brown. She writes workplace diversity and inclusion. We have James Kelly. He'll be on. He has a book called Devotee, a mature mortal's guide to understanding and nurturing and the protection of a female goddess. Interesting. We also have Jaslyn O'Neill. She has a self-help book. Kimberly Batchelor Davis, you guys may be familiar with her. She has a self-help book, and she has a children's book, and she has a romance book. She's a very diverse writer. We also have Lisa Washington. She's a native Detroiter. She has a Christian romance book. We have Hanif Sabri. He writes poetry and education and life situations. We also have Andrew Snorton. He writes sports, self-help, and poetry. And finally, our last author for tomorrow will be Simone Miller. So tune in at 2 o'clock tomorrow from 2 to 5. We will have our final day 3, for Detroit Book City's Fall Family Book Fair, our second annual 2020. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. Enjoy the harvest time that's in front of us, despite what our world and our country is going through. Happy Halloween, and God bless you. We'll see you tomorrow at 2 o'clock. Tune in. Peace.